Hi, I'm Nikki from Find Me Crafting. Because I have a 9-year-old, I often find myself wandering toy aisles in stores. And while I wait for her to look at whatever's caught her fancy, I tend to gravitate toward the aisle with the Disney Doorables in it. If you haven't already discovered the gravitational pull that is Disney Doorables, let me introduce you. They are these tiny, mini, collectible Disney figures, and they come as a surprise. You don't know which one you're going to open up until you buy the box and rip them open. They are so stinking adorable and cute, but I've always been able to walk away by telling myself that I don't know what I'm going to do with them once I open them. Unfortunately, I now have a couple different ways to use them, and today's tutorial might be my favorite yet. Add some beads and a key ring, maybe a tassel, and you have the stinking cutest keychains ever, which you of course can attach to keys, or you can put on your purse as a purse charm. You can attach them to backpacks. Really, you're gonna wanna put these everywhere because they're so darn cute. And the hardest part, because this is a really easy craft, is deciding which beads you wanna put in which combination. Two of my daughters and I sat for just hours the other night coming up with fun color combinations. And now my daughter wants to give them to everyone she knows. You're gonna love this one. Come on, I'll show you how. If you like this content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any new patterns or projects. Let's talk about the supplies you're going to need. You are of course going to need some Doorables or some other small figurine. Next up, you're going to need a number of supplies. Now, all of these things came in one kit for me. It's pretty inexpensive, and I have loved these supplies. They work really, really well for me. First up, you're going to need a hand drill. This particular one comes with 10 different bits in different sizes. We are going to be using the 1.2 millimeter size bit. You're also going to need some needle nose pliers. You need some screw eye hooks. This one comes with both gold and silver, which I find very useful. This set also comes with key rings with chains attached. It comes with 10 total. There are 5 silver and 5 gold, which coordinate with the screw eye hooks. And lastly, if you are adding tassels, you're also going to want some jump rings. And this kit also comes with silver and gold jump rings. You will need some cord. I like using this. It's 0.5 millimeter waxed Brazilian cord. I like this. It works pretty well. You can use this kind of silken cord. This is a 1 millimeter nylon cord. One thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about which cord you want to use, if you wanted to use this is a larger size cord, then your keychains need to have a larger, preferably silicone bead in the center of your design. And I'll show you why when we get to that point. But if you use a regular bead, it will make using this kind of cord much, much harder. You can use a beading needle. This is a big eye beading needle. Looks like this when you take it out of the package. This can be useful sometimes if you're having trouble getting your beads through the center of your holes. And if you are using the larger cord, you're definitely going to want one of these. And you're going to want some glue. I really like Weld SuperWeld Extreme. This way, when we're gluing our knots to hold them in place, if you are gluing that spot near a silicone bead, this glue will adhere to the silicone bead, which I find useful. Other glues are not going to do that for you, so this is the one I recommend. You're also going to need something pretty sharp and pointy. You could use tweezers, the end of scissors. This is a sewing stiletto, and I find it to be very useful for this project. You're probably also going to want some baby wipes for wiping off that pointy thing because it does come in contact with the glue and it's easier to wipe it off than deal with it after. And of course, you're also going to want some beads. I've gotten these from a couple different places. All of my silicone beads are from Amazon. I will put the links for those down in the description box down below. All of the regular beads are from Hobby Lobby, with the exception of these that I bought at Joann's. Just know that whatever beads you're using, you're going to want them to have a larger opening that makes it easier to thread them and work with them. And if you wanted to add tassels, you can buy these separately. Mine came free with purchase of some of my silicone beads. The link for those will be down in the description box along with everything else. If you're adding tassels at all or using jump rings in general, I highly recommend a jump ring opening tool. This is not necessary, but will make your life so much easier. To begin, I am going to be attaching this eye hook onto the top of a Doorable. So I'm going to show you how I did this one. So grab your 1.2 millimeter drill bit and we're going to put it into the hand drill. We need to open this up so that it's large enough for me to put the drill bit in. So you're going to turn that counterclockwise to open it. And then you slide your drill bit in and then turn it clockwise to tighten. And you kind of have to hold it with your left hand while you turn with your right. It's assuming you're right-handed. And then you can kind of give it a twist to tighten it really well. And it's ready to use. I want to put the eye hook right here in the top of her head. And I'm really just going to eyeball it. I like to set it up straight because some of them lean a little bit on purpose, just their design. So I stand it up so I can see where it's straight. Pick your center location, wherever you want that to be. Press down and just turn. You're going to turn your hand drill while pressing down on the Doorable. And it helps if you can get a little bit of push going and just keep turning. I'm holding it with my left hand and I just kind of broke through. I think most of them are hollow inside, and once you break through, you'll feel it. And then if you back it back out, twist it in the opposite direction, it'll bring that bit of plastic it just drilled out with it. So there's that plastic. Get rid of that. And now we've got our perfect little hole. So you want to take out one of your screw eye hooks. They look like that. And we're going to add a little bit of the glue to the eye hook, to the screw portion of it. And then insert it into the hole you just made. I'm going to hold it steady with my left and turn with my right and try to keep it straight because you want it to go in straight. And just keep turning. It'll grab hold of it. And you want to turn it so that that circle at the top, the eye itself, is flush with the head, and then twist it so it's straight. Because once it dries, you're never getting it back out. So make sure it's straight. That one's just a little bit crooked, so I'm going to add a little bit more. You could use your pliers for this. And that's it. All you have to do is let the glue dry, and she's ready to attach to a beaded keychain. Next up is the hardest part of this project, which is just deciding which beads you want to use in what order. This is ridiculously fun, but I'm telling you, you can lose hours to this process because you just want to keep testing new combinations. The next step is to cut your cord, and you want it to be about double the length of the space that you'll need to get all your beads on, and then you add a few inches because that makes it easier to tie later. You're going to grab your key ring with the chain, and I'm going to run one end through the end of the chain, and we want to line up the ends of the cord so that they're about even. And you're going to start with the bead that will be closest to the key ring, so farthest away from the Doorable. For me, that's one of these Mickey Mouse beads, which are super cute. I will say if you're using these, you can't really stack other beads on top because they'll sit really high, like up here on his ears. So just know that for us, what worked best was having the Mickey Mouse at the top closest to the key ring itself. So you're just going to thread both ends of your cord through the bead and pull it all the way up to the top, and then do a second bead. I tend to do about 4 to 5 beads on each one. That's just personal preference. There really is no rhyme or reason. Once you get about halfway down though, so I have 2 beads on and these 3 to go, we just want to grab one of the sides of cord here, and we're going to thread that through the rest of our beads. So here's my 3rd bead. There we go. 4th bead and 5th bead. So that's all the beads I have lined up for this particular one. Now you're going to grab your Doorable that has the little eye hook on it. You're going to thread that through the eye hook, pull it up. And now I am holding that same piece of cord, the same side that I just threaded through those last 3 beads. I'm going to bring it back through those same 3 beads so that these beads also have 2 strands running through it. These 2 have both strands running through it, and then we dropped one. Now we're going to take that end and go back through the same beads. Just like that. And here, sometimes it's hard, depending on the width of your hole, it can help to have that beading needle. I'm gonna try it without. And I made it. So once you get back through those bottom 3 beads and you pull that up, you'll have both ends of your cord in the same spot. You can see they're right here. And now we're gonna tie them together. And you wanna pull pretty darn tight because that's what's gonna give the whole thing some structure. So if you wanna arrange things right now before you tie it off, make sure everybody's facing straight, all the beads are the way you want them to look. So I've pulled that tight like a regular knot. This second part I'm gonna use what is called a surgeon's knot. So I'm gonna wrap this piece under and around, just like you would if you were tying your shoes. But now instead of pulling it tight, I'm gonna wrap it around one more time. And now I'm gonna pull tight in between my beads. And you're gonna tighten, 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 tighten. We're going to trim off these ends. And if you leave yourself a little bit of an end, it's not really that big a deal. In fact, that's what I prefer to do. Now you wanna, I like to bend it away here, and I'm gonna add a little bit of glue to that knot because we don't want it to ever come undone. And now while it's still wet, you wanna take whatever pointy object you're using. This is my sewing stiletto, and you wanna jam the knot down into your bead like that. And now it is completely hidden and gone, and the keychain itself is done. This is where if you're using the larger cord, this nylon cord, you have to be able to have a larger bead here in the center or a silicone bead. The silicone will stretch a little as you're jamming the knot in there. But if you're using a regular bead, it's practically impossible to get this knotted up inside the bead, and then you have these little ends hanging out. So that is my one tip for you. And then you want to wipe off the end of your pointy object with a baby wipe or whatever you want to use, just to remove some of that glue before it dries. If you wanted to add a tassel, let me show you how quick and fast we can do that. You will need needle nose pliers and a jump ring, which looks like this. And I'm using a jump ring opening tool, which really is one of the greatest inventions. Find the opening in your jump ring. I like to put that at the top so I can see what I'm doing. You grab hold of one side with your needle nose pliers and you insert the other side into this opening in the ring. And now I'm going to be pushing down with the ring while I pull back in the opposite direction with my opposite hand so that you have an opening. It just pops it right open. And you can slide it onto your tassel. Slide it onto the keychain itself, and now we just do it in reverse. I'm going to bring my left hand back toward me while twisting my right hand forward, and look, it's perfect and it's done, and you did it in seconds. Once the glue is dry, you're done and they're ready for use. I wouldn't believe you if you told me you didn't want to make a million of these because they are so fun, so easy, and so cute. Happy crafting!